hold on a second. We'll save that for a little later on, Sean Colvin. Anyhow, I want to talk now about something that is happening next week. It's Social Inclusion Week. I touched on this yesterday on the show, but I'm joined by a couple of guests now who are going to flesh it out a little bit more. And it's going to be launched this Saturday by Cahirlock Councillor Liam Blaney and in Greenland Theatre Saturday afternoon. 1:30 is the launch, and then it'll be followed by a big festival of colour hosted by the Letterkenny Indian community. But Mary Clyde, who's coordinator of Donegal Public Participation Network and the artistic director with Yellowwood Arts and programmes manager with Waterside Theatre, Andrew McNulty, have joined me in the studio. And good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon.
Hi, John.
Especially you, Andrew, seeing as we were in the movies together many years ago.
We were indeed.
Just to explain, it was a scene. Well, we actually weren't. We were in this. We were filmed in the scene and we never even made the finished article. So,
I know it was terrible. I had all my family sitting around as well, John, to watch the film. Yeah, and total disappointment when I couldn't be seen. I went, I'm coming up now, and nowhere.
I know.
Puff of smoke. That was
Secret
it.
of Rowan-ish. Amira, you said off there a second ago. Did you actually seen it?
I saw it in Lifford Cinema many moons ago.
Sitting there on your own watching it.
Well, no, there was a big crowd there now. All your fans were there waiting to see you. Yeah. Very, very disappointed that you were.
I can imagine. Yeah. Anyhow, back to the present and back to Social Inclusion Week. An overview of this. Explain what is the purpose of it.
So the idea behind Social Inclusion Week is to reach out to communities maybe living in disadvantage or not being able to participate in usual activities. And this is a way of, in particular, we're coming from the Public Participation Network, which is kind of a community and voluntary social inclusion an environmental body that reaches out into communities, works with community groups, and gives community groups and individuals the opportunity to represent themselves on public committees and stuff like that too, as well, of interest. So what Mary and myself have done was we came together and Mary came up with a timetable and said, let's try and fill this now, see what we can do, see how we can reach into those different communities.
Well, you certainly have filled it. Now, I misunderstood this yesterday. I thought it was reaching out to newly arrived communities, and not necessarily, not that anybody's excluded as such. In fact, it's the opposite, but there's not that particular focus. And Mary, you have filled the programme.
Yeah.
Above and beyond.
Yeah. I suppose maybe backtracking during COVID, we did an awful lot of online activities, and there's quite a few of these now incorporated into this as well, because people have been coming back and saying, oh, what about the yoga, what about the mindfulness? So doing the well-being as well, because I think that's really important, because there's still issues, a lot of issues. So
I was just going to ask you that. Yeah. Things are still not 100%.
Right.
They're still not back to where
absolutely
they
not. No.
And we have found that with a lot of our groups, when we're reaching out to them, that the numbers have depleted. A lot of people just aren't coming out again, or they're slower to come out again as well and engage just in person.
For different reasons. Some people just get out of the habit of going out and now have to be encouraged and coaxed.
Yeah, to come back again, you know.
And by Social Inclusion Week and initiatives like this, it gives us the opportunity to provide a platform once again for them to come out, to mix, and hopefully provide some kind of activities that they can all get around, and it will be of interest to as well.
Well, there's plenty of activities here, and they're all very accessible, and it's important to stress that they're all free.
Absolutely.
So let's zip through a few of them, and it starts actually tomorrow, really, with first aid and CPR out in Manor Cunningham, but on then to the launch, which is on Saturday. And after that launch, then there's a festival of colour, and that's hosted by the Letterkenny Indian community, and that's a family event. But from there on, let's say Sunday, for instance, in the town park in Letterkenny.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do an over and back here. So,
okay. Grand.
Wherever you've organised an event or you're over familiar with it, then step in. So I'm not too sure which is which.
So the Sports Partnership are actually having a Let's Play family event in the park on Sunday too as well. So that's from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock.
Okay. Monday, then there's... I'll just stay with you, Andrew, for this. Donegal Community Garden. Now, this looks to be a big event because it's a gathering of groups from all around the county, and that's going to be at the Vestry in Letterkenny.
That's right. Yeah. That's the Donegal Community Garden Network.
Yes.
They're the spring gathering event. So community groups will be invited to a networking morning there. And
we know they're scattered all around the county, and it's a great initiative, but just a chance to come together, talk, meet, plan.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be absolute. And that network already exists as well, and it's very well supported. And one of our own secretariat members, Joanne Butler, will actually be heavily involved in that too as well. So she'll be leading out on that too as well.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Okay, Mary, to Monday, and there's there's yoga, and there's music, and there's a workshop. A couple of those online.
Yeah. The Zoom is our first one, and it's Healing Flow Yoga. Jacqueline Toner from Letterkenny, and she did a load of these with us previously, and she's very, very good, excellent.
Okay.
So it's nice for people to get involved in that as well, you know, and it's online and it suits all abilities. So anybody can take, you know, it's chair yoga, so anybody can take part in it.
Right.
But it's
Very
really, really
easy.
good. Yeah, and it's Andrew, sorry.
And the music, that's going into the nursing homes and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's on a Monday too as well. That's with two great guys. That's Jack McHale and Miles McIver. And this is following on from my work. It's great crossover work that I have in Derry too as well. These two guys, we devised a project where they would go into residential care settings.
Yes.
And they would work with older people in those settings. And they actually created a brand new piece of music into a CD. So this is going to be like a mini version of that, where they're going to go in, they're going to play a few tunes, and they're going to try and just come up with a wee song by the end of the day and rattle that out then too as well. So it's a really good way.
Brilliant idea. Now, on to Tuesday, there's a walkability audit in Melton. What's that, Mary?
It's ourselves with the Donegal County Council Access Officer Trudy O'Reilly, and we've done these in a few different towns that have regeneration going on, and we take people with different levels of disabilities, and you know, older people and children and buggies, and we go around towns and walk, and we look at the issues that are there, and then we send the report to, you know, the regeneration team to look at the issues, you know, because there are a lot of issues in towns.
In the hope that
and I hope that there's money there to do things, so hopefully it'll impact then on that.
And Andrew, there's an art class on Tuesday as well that you're involved in.
This is a very special art class. I work with a group called Different Strokes for Different Folks, who have now evolved into Yellowwood Arts. Yellowwood Arts are an arts and health group. So what it does, by arts and health, there's many different types of arts. There's arts and disability, there's traditional arts that take place in a theatre or in a gallery. Arts and health is where we pair up a professional artist and the service user themselves too as well. And they create art, they co-design, co-create art. And the idea came about when I was working with a great guy, Larry Masterson. And he also has an event on Tuesday that I better mention as well, John.
Yes.
It's a aphasia conversation group, and that is for people with aphasia. It's also called the Aphasia Cafe, and Larry will be heading that along with a speech and language therapist too as well, and that's to provide a facility for those with aphasia, because it's quite a challenging I suppose, thing to have in aphasia because it affects your speech and your language. This provides a very safe environment led by Larry and Louise, where they can come in on Tuesday, and that is in the Central Library at 11 a.m.
I was just going to ask where.
I could see a point in there.
Yes,
but the art class, if I can scoot back to that very quickly. So that came out of Yellowwood Arts and it's Arts and Health, but it is going to be led by Fiona McGee. Fiona McGee herself had a stroke there a few years back, and she was a teacher in Little Angels here, and she was unable to carry on her career, but after getting involved with a few of the different projects, and I'll speak about one of those that's happening on Thursday. After getting involved in a few of those arts and health projects, she's built up the confidence now to take on a class for herself. So what a better opportunity than Social Inclusion Week to have an arts and health project led by the artist herself, Fiona, and she's terrific. She's great. This all evolved, and Mary had made mention of it earlier too as well, from COVID and online, where everything was pushed online. And Fiona, actually, we were running a series of classes with stroke and brain injury survivors online, and they were general drama based, but Fiona actually said that she would do an art one night, and we all drew Donald Duck, and it was fantastic, and I was delighted with myself, and it was really good, really good.
Over the course of the week, there's a focus on cybercrime awareness, and that's being highlighted at most of the events. And on Wednesday, for instance, there's something titled Fraud Fighters and Data Heroes Workshop. So that ties in with that theme.
Yep, yeah. It's all to do with scams and frauds, which everybody's just...
We're all too... Well, not that we're over familiar with them, but we're aware.
So much going on, yeah. And I think it's Eve Kern that's doing these for us. And I think she's just looking at social platforms, how our information is getting out there, where are people getting this information from, and looking on how to try and, just some tips and how to improve our own security at work and at home.
And that's online.
That's online, yep. Okay. That's online as well, yeah.
And also on Wednesday, there's some mindfulness.
Yep, that's Mary Cara from Angels Cove. And again, she does loads and loads of things, just breathing techniques, anxiety tips, and hints on how to deal with life, really. And it's really, really good. Yes. Really, yes. Very good. She's brilliant.
And Andrew, then on Thursday in the Radisson Blue Hotel, there is again Yellowwood's art involved in a special presentation or a special.
Yeah, this is a great partnership, and many thanks to Mary for jumping in behind this too as well. This was an international project originally, Brainwaves, and it involved the group that I mentioned before, Different Strokes for Different Folks, those that have survived stroke. It involved the Playhouse in Derry. It involved King's College in London, and Rosetta Life and Wall to Wall in Derry too as well. So it was a great project. It was an international study. And we will be presenting that film. We had talked about films earlier, John.
Yes. So I'm glad to see there's a film involved.
We'll be presenting that showcase on Thursday, along with then I'll give a bit of background from the artist's point of view. Larry, who I mentioned earlier too as well, Larry Masterson, he's a powerhouse. He will be talking about a participant point of view, and we will have the members of the group. There was up to 13, I think it was, involved in that. So they'll be there on the day to have a chat and all of that about the project and the process of getting involved in it.
Great project, really, and that'll be in Radisson Blue Hotel.
That's right, yes.
Okay, on Thursday. Thanks. And on Friday, Mary, there's a social media workshop again, I presume touching on the theme of cybercrime?
I think I'm mostly looking at the different social media platforms and just a workshop and showing people how to use them. Right. It's Evelyn McGlynn that does it, and it's really, really easy going, friendly kind of course for people get involved that maybe are not too familiar with social media and want to learn how to use it and what's there.
And on Saturday then it finishes up again with art class with Fiona.
And we are actually reaching out to new communities there too as well, John. You had mentioned that earlier. Yeah. So we will be working with Ukrainian refugees on that programme in Culdaff. They're based there, and that's through the Secretariat and the Public Participation Network that we work on. Right. So it's through that we got a connection that identified that there may be possibly a need there to work and to provide the classes out there for them too as well. Yeah, so it's really good. Jam-packed. That's only a snapshot.
Yes, and you know what? We've touched on, we've mentioned a lot of items there, but there's more besides. There's more events on. So,
one in particular that I just want to mention on Wednesday, the 28th at 10 o'clock, and the Clanree is the Older Persons Council AGM, and they are looking for new participants, and they haven't had an AGM for a few years. So really, it's from over 55s, onwards. So that wouldn't include any of us. about it. But they are looking. They're looking for new people, you know, and they're trying to widen that network. So they have an older persons council, and then they will have an older persons executive committee. So they're looking for new people, and anybody. Loads of people have retired in the last few years that maybe are looking for something to do, and this would be a great opportunity, and they've loads of ideas and they do loads of things. So really important that people come out. Everybody's invited to it at 10 o'clock in the Clanree on Wednesday.
All right, brilliant. And more information online if you want, donegalcoco.ie. It's on all week. Starts really tomorrow, continues through then until Saturday week, and everything is free.
Everything.
That's right, John.
Mary and Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you very
John,
much.
thanks very much for
Million.
having us.
Thank you.
Northwest with Donegal Airport at College and